Howdy folks, so today I'm going to be going through everything that is wrong with the 32 in a pursuit to bring this up to a street driven nice daily car that would just be nice to drive around in. I'm going to go through everything that needs to be done, everything that I've done so far, and then yeah, I'll update it as we go because it is going to be a bit of a process. So it's not something that can be done in a couple of days. It's probably more like 6 to 12 months. So yeah, let's get into it. Alright, so starting off in the interior, as we can already see, I am missing this piece of plastic. I have the top piece, I don't have the bottom piece, so I'm going to have to find one of those, hopefully not broken because they are rare as hen's teeth these days. And mount it and fit it and make it all nice there. Also, I do not have a footrest, which would be nice, just because a footrest would be nice. I also have the GTR knee pads, which I want to go on here. The GTR Nismo dash. Yesterday I went through and I repinned a bunch of pins because I have a different series wiring loom, so a lot of the pins weren't right, so I repinned it. I managed to get the tacho to work and I repinned the temp and oil pressure gauge. However, I do not have the correct the correct water temp gauge, which I have to buy, which is about 38 bucks. So that's one of the other things. I'll show you where that goes in a bit. Moving on. This doesn't act well. I mean, it's got the drift button on it, but the spring's in it because I went and put one with a spring in it. However, the cover on this is not great, so eventually I want to be able to replace the button itself and then get rid of this thing. This here, worn out. I want a new one, leather. It's the same color, same style, everything like that. This centerpiece here, the tabs at the top are broken and it's been damaged up there, so I want to get rid of this one and find another one. I believe I have one, but I'll have to dig it out. As you can see, there is no cigarette lighter socket, no ashtray. I want to get both of those things. The stereo is not held in by anything because I don't have the brackets, and the wiring loom back there is an absolute mess, so I have to do all of that, and preferably I'd do the whole lot at the same time. So I've got to find a cigarette lighter socket or get an aftermarket one and make it fit. I've got to find an ashtray. I want to find the double din and then put maybe block it off or put a gauge, like a pair of gauges in there or something like that, and replace this head unit because it's older than time itself. As you can see, the buttons on this are broken as well. Although I don't think that it's really that big of a deal, but I will be replacing this at some point. As you can see, the dash has a hole in it and it's bubbled, as they all do, and a bit of a crack there too. So I would ideally like to find a new dash, but again, rare as hen's teeth, not going to really come across too many of them. This centerpiece here, they're all broken. You can buy them new. That's not a sweat. I think they're about $100 new, so I'll replace the whole thing. I'll just get a new one. Over here, the switch surround. I got the switch, but the surround is missing, always has been. I'll eventually get around to finding one of them as well. Now down here, that is a bit of a mess in there. I have had the ECU out recently. I'm going to put it back in, bolt it up properly, and clean it up a little bit. This seat here had a paint tin leak on it, so I do want to get a new seat for this or find a way to get this out, but I don't think I'm ever getting this out, so I'm probably looking for a new seat. As you can see here, all the C pillars, it's a super common problem. B and C pillar cover, yeah, it's dead, it's cooked, it's grave time. This passenger seatbelt, when I can get it up, as you can see, the tab on the top of it is broken, so this just falls straight down to the bottom, resulting in it sitting on the floor. and people don't really like that. I'd also like to get a cover for it as well, just because I'm like that. So that's it really for interior. I've got the GTR door cards, I've got the GTR cluster. Yeah, I just like to try and GTR it up a bit, I guess, even though it's not a GTR, which is ridiculous because I'm stupid. Also, the windscreen is well cracked, so I need a new one of them, and I need new wiper blades, but that's ridiculously small and not really much of a point. Also these, I don't have one on either side. I want new ones of that. Oh, and another thing is, that isn't mounted properly, so I've got to find the bolt and mount that up, and this has broken my bonnet puller, so that's an absolute pain in the ass to try and open the bonnet. So that's another two things that I've got to fix in this shitbox. Alright, and onto the boot. As you can see, it's a bit of a mess. I've got a bunch of parts here that are for an upgrade I'm doing soon, which is the coil pack conversion. So I'm going Yaris coil packs. I've got the coil packs, I've got the plugs, I've got the bracket itself. Now the boot, I don't have the cardboard base for the spare tyre. I don't have a spare tyre, so that'd be nice as well, but I need to get like one of those small ones so it will fit in. Try and find the right piece of bit for it. Also, just my earth job on the thing, it was just a piece of wire I found laying around, so I want to redo that one, make it look proper and nice, and also put this in a box, and then try and find some interior panels and just make it look a bit nicer in here, you know. So yeah, that's in the boot. Okay, as we can see, my engine bay is a total mess. I do not like it. I have never liked it. I'm very tempted to rip the motor out, clean the engine bay up, spray it, put it all back in, put it all back together. Some of the biggest things are, like all this is all from drifting, like all water and mud and shit that got up in here. So I want to clean like all of that. But I'd have to, honestly, to do it properly, I'd have to pull the motor out. I also want to redo the heat shield shit, because it gets really hot in that cab when this is absolutely cooking it, as the exhaust is right there and the wastegate is literally right there. So yeah, it gets quite warm in the cab on the floor, especially on the passenger side, because of where the exhaust is. So I want to get like some proper heat matting and fix that up. So this setup is all going to change. It's going to get cleaned up, and it's going to be coil packs, and then that igniter will be gone. I want to clean up this engine loom. As you can see, it's a bit of a mess, so I'll clean that up. That temp sensor bolts into there for the dash. I've got to go buy that and put it in there. I didn't think I had the hole for it, but I do, so it should be fine in there. I really want a cover for this, just because I've never had one. It'd be nice to have. I'm going to bolt that in. I've got to probably shorten this and try and make room for the water washer jet bottle, which I have. It's in perfect condition. It just came out when I binned it and never went back in. I do have a full front cut from here to here, so this is all going to get replaced. It's in perfect condition. It's like from the rails, like it's the rails and everything, right from the strut top or the strut tower up front, and it includes all of that and everything like that. So I might get that clean. Well, I'm going to get that cleaned up, and I'm going to get someone to put it in there, like cut all the old stuff out and put it in there so it's all mounted properly, so that way it doesn't look like shit, because it does right now and I don't like it. I mean, the car's straight-ish, but it's only straight-ish. And the coilovers too, I'm getting rid of these coilovers because they are really drift coilovers. You know, like they're 12.5 front spring rates and 9.5 rear spring rates, so they're quite aggressive, even though I've got the dampeners all the way soft. Yeah, it's still quite aggressive, so I want to replace those with like a softer sort of coilover. I'm probably aiming for like 6 and 5 or 7 and 6, somewhere around there. The other thing that needs to be done is steering rack bushes. They are well gone. There is almost no steering rack bush on this side. It's worn away that bad. So I need to replace that ASAP. Another thing is, this fan is dead, so I'm going to go back to a GK Tech fan, probably. They work good. And the other thing is, I can get a rad or like a shroud for the radiator. So I'll be able to put that over the top of it as well, and that'll just give me proper cooling. Another thing I want to get done is, I have all the aircon stuff inside the car. It stops there, so I'm going to have to get lines made up, but I want to get them made up away from the turbo and exhaust, because they get really quite hot. Might fab up some sort of shield to keep the heat away from it, and then try and keep them over this side and keep them right down low, and then out the front here, and then I put the condenser and the radiator for it out the front here. So yeah, try and get some aircon back in my life, because honestly it's too damn hot all the time. So yeah, there's that. What else is wrong with this car? I've got a power steering leak. It's a slow leak. It's from, I think, one of the hoses here. If you look back there, it looks like it's that one out of that. So I've got to change the hoses on them, because they're probably old as shit, and it's something nobody ever does. I do have the compressor and the bracket now, so I've got that much. I just need lines and the condenser and that sort of stuff. What else? The horn, which I may actually do today. I've got the plug for it and everything here, and I've got the horn in the garage, so I might pull that out and reattach the horn. Headlight wiring loom is a bit of a mess, so I might clean that up, or give it an attempt anyway, and try and clean that up and make it work a bit better. Other than that, I think that's really it for the engine bay. The tricky part is the bodywork. Alright, so for the bodywork to come good, or in my eyes come good, I need to replace this bar. This K-Mac one was garbage. Never fit properly from the outset. It's a GTR, it's an actual GTR bar. They were supposed to send me a GTST-R or whatever it is for the GTSTs, and it's skinnier and it fits over the GTST rad support from factory, but this is a proper GTR one. It was never going to fit that at all. I need new corner lamps, or the indicators, because I mean, these ones are alright, but they don't fit properly because they're old and broken. That one's even worse. So I have to fix them up, or get new. Well, I have to get new ones of them, just to make it look a bit better in the front. I need that GTR Gorilla Life. I've got the mounting tabs and everything for it there, so that's not a problem. The bonnet fits and works properly, perfectly, so that's good. Need new guards, both sides. So this one is busted, it's old, it's falling apart. I've had it on the car since I bought the car. I've done many track days and torn it up. And this one was bent from the outset, so this was never straight, so I had to straighten this up, and it still doesn't fit properly down there. So that guard never ever fit properly. So those are the two things there. As you can see, this one's like, it's been bent there, so It doesn't quite sit right down there. It's not as bad as the other side though. The paint job. So I did this in my yard with a gun. This was always like this. This is someone else's fun attempt at it. And this one has sparkly paint on the black for whatever reason. And this is the factory paint. So this is the color I want to go. I want to go everything factory paint. This was gunmetal grey, but it's close enough to the black that you don't really notice it when it's just this part. But with everything else, it looks garbage. So yeah, this side's the only side with some drift tap damage. But yeah, I can clean that up, and I do have another light that isn't broken because this one's broken. But I do have another light that isn't broken, so I can put that on there. That's no issue. And then I get the thing completely resprayed by a professional this time, and not just me in my yard. But all the lights work, except this one. I got to wire this one into the brake lights. But I'm thinking instead of doing that, I'm going to get the Rocket Dancer gurney flap and put that on the car, and the N1 lip that goes with it, just because I like the look of it. Other than that, I probably need new exhaust hangers and maybe a new gearbox end or gearbox mount. But mechanically, this thing is like 90% the goods, 90% fine. I think there's a couple of things that I could fix up and improve, but for the most part, it's just a lot of cosmetic stuff that I want to start doing, like this. Like you just want to replace that for the fact that you don't want it leaking. Like, finding those is hard too. So yeah, it should be a bit of a mission, but and then get the tint done because it's all bubbling and peeling. Yeah, and get a decent sound system in there. But yeah, so that is realistically everything that is wrong with this car. And over the next, I don't know, probably 6 months, 12 months, I'm going to be fixing piece by piece and getting it into a nice condition. The last thing I think is going to be getting the front cut welded in, or cut out and then welded in. I might pull the engine out while that's happening, and really go ham cleaning that fucking engine bay, and then get them or get it sprayed before the engine goes back in it. But I think that's along the lines of the last thing is going to be the bodywork, unfortunately. So yeah, I'm going to work on interior, mechanical, gauges, electrical, that sort of stuff. Get that all squared away, and then go bodywork. Yeah. Alright, well, if you're still watching, thanks for sticking around. Please like, share, subscribe to the channel. It does actually really help me out. So yeah, it'd be good to continue being able to share this story of a piece of shit getting back to half decent condition with you guys, because that's what I like doing. I like telling stories. I like sharing. So alright, yeah, next video should be up sometime next week, fingers crossed. I want to start getting back out, start doing more drift videos. I think I'm going to change the way that I'm doing it, but we'll see how I feel about the editing process and everything like that in the meantime. So either way, stay tuned, have a good time, have fun, bye.